Well, I'm going 210. Ishpiu, Bijamohan. I'm going to get started because we're going to finish by a little bit after 3. So let's get started. I'll begin with a prayer, and then we'll sing in the Naskapi song. Imataw. Jiniskumin chamado chajiminan Naskapi iuimun. Thank you for this precious language and the privilege we have to learn it and to talk it and to learn to read it better. Thank you that all of us could come here together and for the magic of Zoom so that we can do this from far away. We urge Jesus Christ into Siminan. Amen.
Amen.
Did anybody pick a hymn for today? If you haven't, I have one in line. I have a hymn number you'd like us to sing together?
Which one? And Chagumshneken?
Naskapi hymnal?
Sharon can sing.
I can share my screen and put the Naskapi hymnal there.
You sing with me, madam.
I don't know how to sing.
Kenny. Ben, mute to be done. You're Acha.
Okay, this is the one I have for today, and it's one that is well known. It's used at the Naskapi church all the time. I know the tune because I've heard it a lot, and it's the tune. If you look at the hymnal and you look at the page of the hymnal, at the top it says the number, and then there's a Bible verse, and then there's the 4 verses of the hymn. But at the very bottom here, it says where this came from. It's a translation of an English hymn that was called Son of My Soul, Thou Savior Dear. And then in parentheses, it has this part that says Hersley 8888. And that's how you find out what the tune is like. If you can't remember the way this song goes, you can Google Hersley 8888 as a hymn. And you can find places online that will just play you the tune. So if you've forgotten the way the tune goes, and you say, oh, well, I remember this one, but I'm not sure of the tune. That's one way to find out, is to go to the bottom of the page and look that up. This part, Kawapach Mishinegan, that says where this song was originally. Kawapach Mishinegan is the white Moose Cree hymnal. And this was song number 8 in the white Moose Cree hymnal. You remember that one? I have an old copy here that was given to me by Philip Enish. So number 8 is this book, and we'll sing this one.
I'm gonna book brown. Now you have that.
Yeah, do we have the brown one too? But this one happens to come from the white book.
White.
Yeah.
Blue mo na ganito.
Terus Nina sebagai Minas di Maya.
Go patat.
All right. Here's how it goes. I'll highlight the verses so you know where I am. Chia hope ma chi wow wapi shimo mitnita chak akawina oma asti niki akawastaka kon Ati istika moyana O manike wichi sisin Aishiminwa miwa itakwach Chike no wayami wawin We chainan harchishikat chiakapi machiat we chawinan atipiskat chiakas paimain Nasinan koskosiana amwaya tos chayat ispis chichi otitamat miwaimo in hispimit. And that's that song. Welcome, Jessica. Do you have your sound turned on? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And anybody else? Nobody else has joined us since.
Well,
Okay, yes.
I
Yes.
received a message. The band console was closed because
Oh, they're closed for Naskapi Day.
They're
yeah.
having a scavenger hunt right now.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll
And
see them.
Loretta texted me to say something urgent came and she won't be able to join.
Oh, all right. That's thanks for telling me that. So Lorette and the band office.
I might have to leave during the meeting.
All right.
Not sure yet.
I'm
But I'll
glad.
let you know.
I'm glad that you're here for as long as you can be here.
Okay.
We're going to review.
I'm going
putting-
to mute the microphone. My girls are loud.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. We're going to review a few things today before we get into reading. One of the things I'd like to review is how to install syllabics on your computer. One of the first assignments we had back 3 weeks ago when we started this was to get Naskapi syllabics put on your computer. And so I'm just going to review that. Today, I'll be reviewing it for Windows computers. Most of you use Windows laptops if you have one. I know that some of you also have Macintosh, and another day I will do Macintosh. But today I will demonstrate getting syllabics going on Windows. So let me share my Windows screen with you. Hang on. There we go. Okay, can everybody see my Windows screen? That's my Windows screen. Okay, good. I'm going to turn on a highlight for my mouse so that you can see it. There's my mouse moving along and it has a highlight in the middle. And I will go to the email that I sent all of you. And in that email that I sent all of you, I have a bunch of links. And so in the email, as you go through, there's an email from me to you. If I have your email address, Billy, I didn't send you one because I didn't know your email address. But everybody else I've invited to this also gets this reminder each week to say that the course will be on. And down at the bottom of the reminder, there are these things called online resources. So there's a link to the Naskapi ebooks. That is all of the resource material. The books that we'll be reading from are all in this folder, and they're free. You can open them on your computer and read them. You can also order them at the Naskapi Lulu bookstore, or you can go into the NDC office anytime Manny's at her desk and buy a real copy from her. She has all the books there. To put the Naskapi syllabics on your computer, it's the second one down here. It says Naskapi syllabics for computers, phones, and tablets. And you click that link that I'm going to do right now. And on the internet, there's a place to download all of the software so that you can type in syllabics on your computer. And the first one that comes up, since I'm using a Windows computer here, is the one that says install on Windows. But if you scroll down, you can also see that it's for other devices. There's Naskapi for Mac and Linux and iPhone and iPad and Android, and all of those are also there on that very same link. But at the very top, because I've opened this on a Windows computer, I can click on this button and it will install this on Windows. And you just do it the normal way. You click on it, it will download a program. When you click on it, and then you click on the program after it's there, and it will install, and you have to answer some questions as it installs in your computer. After it installs, let me close this browser. After it installs here, it shows up on your desktop as this icon here in the middle called Keyman Desktop. Once this is in your computer and you have that icon on your desktop, you can type in Naskapi, but there's a couple more intermediate steps that I'd like you to be able to do. Once this is on your computer, it's ready to go, but it hides. Once I double click it, it's hidden. How can I type? I'm going to open a document that I've been typing the Bible on, and I'll show you how it's done. So here's a document I've opened in LibreOffice Writer. If you have Microsoft Word, it'll work the same.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
is he calling me?
sorry, no.
Oh, that's all right. You're talking to somebody at the door. That's fine. So if you have a document on your computer and you begin to type, and then just say, I am typing. You can see here at the bottom where it says, I am typing. I have typed something here. But it hasn't come out in Naskapi. I have to turn on the keyman feature for it to type in Naskapi. And that is hidden on your computer over here under this button. See where at the bottom of your screen where it says show hidden icons?
Mhm.
I'll click on that, and there's the keyman icon, this tiny button here. Then if you click on that again, you can see that there's a Naskapi button that can turn on. And if I switch that on and then start typing, it comes out in syllabics. It will continue to type in syllabics until I turn it off. And you have to go back down to the bottom of the screen and click on that icon and then turn it off. That's a lot of work. Yes?
The file or directory is corrupted and unreadable after downloading the
Try downloading again.
Which one is it? The install on Windows or Windows
one-
down?
It's the install on Windows.
Okay.
It's better, this program works better if we can show this hidden icon all the time. And here's how that's done. Watch me here. If first I have to look for the command for my taskbar notifications. So down in the box at the bottom here, I'm typing in taskbar, T-A-S-K-B-B, taskbar. The taskbar settings, this comes up. If we scroll down through the taskbar settings, until it says select which icons appear on the taskbar. And we find the one called Keyman. Here it is, SIL International Keyman Engine is off. I'll switch it on. Now it's switched on. When I switch it on, it always shows up down here next to the clock. Do you see it? It's lit up and it's always there. It never goes away. So now if I'm typing and I want to be typing in Naskapi, I click here once, choose Naskapi, and then everything I type, Naskapi, comes out in Naskapi. And if I want to turn it off, that little blue icon is there. I can click on it and switch to English and then type in English.
The same,
Yes.
is it almost the same thing for iPhone?
It works the same way on an iPhone.
Okay.
Once you've installed it on your iPhone, you type, the way you type is according to the syllabic chart. So whatever, if you have a syllabic chart and you want to type that letter, you type the English letters right next to it. So your assignment was to get this installed on a computer or an iPhone or an iPad, and then copy things from the Bible. Here's what I was doing. I was copying from the Bible, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 1, and this is the first 2 paragraphs. And I'll continue on, just so that you know how it's done. I'm going to turn to the first page of the Gospel of Luke in my Bible. I've got my Bible here. And I'm on the first page of the Gospel of Luke. I'm looking at number 7 on page 171. And here at number 7, let me take off this that I practice. And I'm ready to type right after the 7. And it says, Namamak. So I type Namamak. It didn't come out in Naskapi because I haven't turned on the keyboard yet. So I got to move my mouse down here to the taskbar. I didn't want to go that large, but larger is better. Down here in the taskbar, and I switch on the keyman button, and I turn on Naskapi. And instead of typing Namamak, I type the same letters, Namamak, and I get Namamak. And I look for the next word. Next letter is U. I type the letter U. The next letter is G. I type CHI. And then I press space because there's a space there. Then the next letter is A. So I type the letter A. The next letter is Ya. And I type YA. The next letter is Wa. So I type WA. And so on. So as you're reading the Naskapi Bible on paper, you find the letters that you want, and then you spell out the letters according to the syllabic chart, and they come out on your screen. And the importance of doing this is that you will be learning to become a lot more fluent in reading the Naskapi the way it's spelled in the Bible. So it's useful practice. If you can get Naskapi set up on your computer so that you can type it, and then pick a page out of the Bible and just start typing the Bible just as I have here. And practice a little bit of that every day. 5 minutes is enough, but do it every day. Don't try to sit there for an hour once a week. 5 minutes a day, do it every day, and you will be amazed at how you improve in your understanding of reading written Naskapi. Any questions? If you have trouble with this technically, you can contact myself and I can help you get it installed on your computer, or my son Benjamin. He's offered to also help in that way.
Yeah, my antivirus, I think, is blocking it.
Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes your antivirus will block a download. So you have to tell your antivirus to give it permission to do that.
Yeah. Well, it says file is corrupt when I try to open it.
Really? I just downloaded that file from that website just here, and it installed just fine. It may not work if you're trying to download the Windows one onto Macintosh or vice versa. So be sure.
No, I'm using an Acer laptop.
Oh, Acer laptop. Then it should work. The other things that computer guys will tell you, sometimes turn everything off, turn it back on again, and try to download it another time. Okay. Before we get into reading, I'm going to review the cards again. So back on the screen. I have got my 10 Naskapi syllabic cards. Remember, there's only 10 letters to learn. And if you need help in doing this, or if you have other people in your household who need to learn this, make yourself 10 cards the way I have, and practice this way. Here is E. Remember that the 3 vowels in Naskapi, the E points up, the U and the A. E, U, and A. Pointing this way is always A. Pointing this way is always U. Pointing that way is always E. And that works for the whole syllabic set. There are 3 different kinds. There's this one that turns, and there's other ones that flip over. Let's look at these other ones. Here's we, and here's wa. See which way it's pointing. It's pointing that way. It's pointing toward the ah side. There is no wu. We, wa. P, ba, bu. Bu points the same way as the u. Pa points the same way as the ah. For T, it's pointing, but it's pointing curved, but it's pointing up. T, do, pointing that way. Ta, pointing that way. That shape is T. The way it points is the vowel, T, to, ta. This is key. For this whole set, the ones with a vertical stick, if they've got a vertical stick, you look at the stick to see what it's doing. This is key, and the stick is holding up the letter. It's holding it up, so it's E. This is ki. This is ka. Where's the stick? The stick is on the ah side. This is ku. Where's the stick? The stick is on the u side. Follow the stick to know which vowel it is. The stick says u. The stick says ah. All the rest of these work the same way. There's chi. The stick is holding it up. There's cha. The stick is on the ah side. There's chu. The stick is on the u side. Here's me. The stick is holding it up. Ma. Stick is on the ah side. Mu. The stick is on the u side. N is a special case. We'll come to that later. C. The stick is holding it up. Sa. The stick is on the ah side. Su. The stick is on the u side. Yi. The stick is holding it up. Ya. The stick is over here on the ah side. Yu. The stick is over here on the u side. What is this? We don't know until we get there. Okay, this is the letter ni. And ni works differently than the other ones because the stick is sideways. If you're looking at a sideways stick, you know that it's not working the same way as before. Before, if the stick was vertical, it was holding it up or it went to the right or went to the left. The stick is going side to side now. So you don't look at the stick, look at the rest of it. Right now, the rest of this letter, the circle, is holding it up. Now watch where the circle goes. The circle went to the ah side. So that letter is na. The circle goes to the oo side over here. And now it's no. Ni, na, no. And that's all of them. There's just 10. Learning them by the cards, well, that's fun. Learning them by the chart, well, every book, every Naskapi book comes with a chart. There's a chart in the Naskapi Bible at the beginning. I've put charts on your email. You can download and print out charts. I've also asked you to download and print out one of these for today. This will be your practice. Fill this in without looking at this. Do it after class. So right now we're going to do it online. So watch me. I'm going to share my screen. So here's the empty chart. Can you remember what goes up in the first box?
I, U, A.
E goes in the first upper corner. So I'm going to put that there myself. I'll put an E here. And then it's U, right? So which way does U point? Do you remember?
On the right.
And then A points the other way. Once you have these, the rest of them are easy because you can go right down the chart. There's E, then this one, it points the same way. But what is it? It's we. It's got to have a dot. Where's my dot? Come on, dot. Sometimes it has to catch up. There it is. And then it keeps on going from there. B, T. If you know that this whole column is the E side, then you can trace them all the way down. You can participate. If you have a computer and you want to try drawing one of these letters in, you can click on the button that says View Options at the top, and then choose Annotate, and then choose the Draw button, and see if you can draw one of these. That was me on my other computer. So if you have access to the button, go ahead and click on the View Options, choose Annotate, and try to fill in the rest of this chart. Very good, Madeline. Good job. Anybody else can do this? Benjamin, I see you. You did the W circle. Ki, ku, ka. Very good, Madeline. Somebody else did a ka in the wrong place. Sharon, is that a chi?
Chi, uh-huh.
If it is, you're right. Yeah, chi, chu, cha. Very good.
Chi, chu, cha.
Ki, ti, ki, chi. Me is next. Can somebody do the me? That's an easy one to draw. It's just 2 straight lines. Very good. Me, mo, ma, m. Moi.
Ma. Nika.
Oh, yeah. This looks like fun.
What did I do now?
Alexis, you put that in the wrong box. Let's see if we can get something in the last row before we stop. Cecil saw. Good, Jessica.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard to manage. I know.
Looks like a yeah.
And you know, when you're using a mouse, or if you're using your finger on your touchpad, it's not so simple.
Yeah.
There you go. Yee, Madeline. Very good.
Tell my dad.
Yeah, I think you guys have got it. You've got the whole idea.
Ma. Speed
This is pretty. We should save it.
Gewoon precies.
And you see how this whole column for U, all of the sticks are on the same side. They're all pointing on the right side. And for the A, all of the sticks are on the left side. Except, of course, for Ni Na Nu, which you get something different happens there. But that's all right. But as long as you learn the pattern, it's this for the Ni Na Nu, you're looking at the circle, and for all the rest of them, you're looking at the stick to decide. Oh, nice son.
Pigeon.
Pigeon.
E o pigeon.
No pigeon. Io pigeon. Okay, so what goes here? And what goes here?
Yeah.
Qua. Watch me.
Watch.
Qua.
It's the last letter in the word for caribou.
Good.
It's a
The
small.
noir, the two dots are supposed to be on top.
Yes, on noir, the two dots go on top.
Oh.
I don't know.
Not true.
All right, nice job, everybody. Ben, were you going to fix your noir?
I'm trying to. It won't let me erase
Yeah,
it.
all right, that's all right. It's the drawing program on Zoom is kind of clunky.
Have you ever tried using Teams?
I haven't tried it. Is it a lot better?
I think so. That's what we use at the school.
Okay. Maybe I'll experiment with it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get on to the next thing. So I'm going to stop this for now. And we'll get on to the next thing. And the next thing is reading. So we're going to do some reading. We're going to read from the same book that we started with last week. This story here. And that story is called Walking with Jesus, Book 1. And it's the story of basically the Christmas story. So we're starting with something that everybody is familiar with, whether you're coming at this from a traditional Naskapi side, because it's a story that's told every year, or even the English side, because you'll be familiar with the way the story goes. Last week, we read the first page, this page. We read this page together. And after we read the page, we talked about finding parts of speech. And this is important for learning how to read. A lot of research has been done on reading, and reading isn't just sounding out the words, but it's sounding out the words and recognizing them because of what they mean. A word is what it means because your eyes are looking at the shape and matching that up with something that's in your head that means something. And so slowly we go from the shape that refers to the sounds to the shape of the whole word that refers to the meaning. It's okay to begin slow. We're going with the shapes that refer to the sounds, but we're going to move very quickly onto what it means. So I can begin by reading the first line of this, but then I'd like to pass it on to others who are on the Zoom. And even if you do one letter at a time very slowly, or you're able to read a little bit quicker than that, let's read a little bit to each other and practice reading. And once we've read through this page, I'll talk about some of the verbs and nouns. So, chiitugo ania enjana, agawi sachisi mani, wash jamando, chichua, chi shuaimuk. And that's as far as I'll go. You can stop at the little X, which is the period. I read that far. Who would like to read next at the chiki?
I'll read.
Go ahead and just read one sentence.
Okay. Chiki ki no waimo shin. Kenwai mau shin. Wait. Kenwai mau shong. Chiki kinwai yung mau shong. Napas. Chiki chiki ayawo. Chiki ayawo. Jesus. Chiki ishinikata.
Very good. This is a good strategy. If you look at the word and you say, I'm not sure what that is, but I know that this is a chi, you can read that much, chi. And then you read the next one, you say chiki. And then you read the next one, you say chiki ayawo. And then pretty soon you say, oh yeah, that's chika ayawo. You will have it. Good. All right. Who's next going to be reading at Nas?
Ni.
Go ahead.
Nas tapwao.
Yeah.
Chiki chish ta yu chish tayu ta kushu chitaya kushu.
It's a ye.
Ye chi yata kushu.
Chistai dakusho. Try it again.
Repeat Madam Minas Bell, please. Chistai yakusho.
Chistai dakusho.
Chistai dakusho.
Angun.
Chishamanitu.
And in Naskapi, we say this by shortening a lot of the vowels, and we just say chamando. But it is chishamanito. But when it's said in fast speech, it just comes out as chamando. Very good.
Mauch.
Mauch. Angun. Mauch.
Minaja.
Next.
Ga ish ba ya ta kushich.
It's a ta at the end. Ta. Sorry. Kushita.
Kushita.
I'm good. Ka ispitakushit.
Kaispitakushit.
Good. Ka ispitakushit.
Ukusha. Ukusa.
Okusa. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Akun.
Good.
Chi. No, ishi na. Oh, this one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
One second. The one in we na point with
Good.
the.
Okay. This letter here is ka by itself. With a point in front of it, it softens it to ha. It's kind of like a HK.
Matugunda mishkut that's syllabic.
To go into this Naskapi syllabic chart, at the bottom it says dot in front of the K letters makes it a soft K, like a
Okay,
H.
okay.
But
Okay,
that's what that is. So it's ha, like that.
Oh, okay.
Isine ha da genot.
Ishnatakunot.
Shine
Wash.
ta genot. Was. Good.
Go to one.
All right, ma'am. Good to go on. Who would like to take over and just try reading some?
Uti payam chichao uti
Yeah, good.
uti paya uti paya chi chan not twang uti da
Utupechichawa.
Angan. Otepe chichawa. So it's a lot of syllables. Otepe chichawa. But otepe chichawa this means Lord. The word for Lord.
Chishmanatao.
Chamintua.
Chamandoa. Chisamanitoa is chamandoa. Good job. Next word.
Chikachauchumawiku. And Israel.
Israel. That's Israel. Because the R's and L's in it, it's a name. It's not a Naskapi word. It's a name. Israel. Good.
Ichmuyam Geishit Chochumo Kunuichi. And Aniaha Utanisha. Umusuma Dipet Ishin Hashwiti.
Yeah. Good job. Anybody else want to try from Nantam?
Nantam chika ayaw.
Good. Ayaw.
Nantam chika ayaw. Honan. Nantam chika ayaw. Tipai chi cha tipai chi chao pai chi chao ni yao tipai chi cha chi yao tipai chi cha o tipai chi cha jo.
Say this much.
Yao.
Say this much. Unio.
Debate-chashu.
Debate-cha unio. Debate-cha unio. It's like ownership, leadership, lordship. It's a noun, meaning ownership or lordship.
Israel.
Israel, good.
Isha. Ishra.
Iya. Much. Iu.
Iwa.
Iwa.
I'm good. Another long word.
Chachi.
Chi.
Chisai. Chisai. Chima. Chisai. Chimayo. Titiwat. Titiwat.
Chauchimotutuat.
Ah?
Chauchimotutuat.
Chao.
Good.
Chimao.
Chao chimao totuat. Let's stop on that word and talk about it a little bit. There's uchimao in the middle, right? Uchimao. Uchimao. And if you put the chisa in the front, that's a great uchimao, which means king. Chao chimao is king. Uchimao is boss. So a great boss is the king. Uchimao. Uchimao totuat means it's done to him as a king. So he becomes the king. To be the king is what that word means.
Same as the Mr. Mishtuchimang.
Misto chimao, yeah. Chao chimao. Usually it's chao chimao for king. Misto chimao just means big boss. Ago.
Ako.
Agomak.
Kuma. Okay.
Akumak.
Akumak. Anaya.
Anya.
Anya.
Okay.
Anya. Akumak anya. Ati. Ati. Ati pa ya. Ati pa ya. Chichao. Ati pa chichao.
By chichat. That's it.
Okay.
By chichat. Good. It's okay to have the syllabic chart open next to you if you're having trouble. Go ahead and look these up if you're not sure. Remember that this one has the stick underneath it holding it up. So it's a ye, not a ya. Good. Namanita. Somebody start there.
Namanita. Chikiyuchi. Chikiyuchi. Is that two dots or there's a S?
There's a little S between the two dots. So it's
Ishquapillo.
Ishquapillo. Namanita cheque ochishquapillo. Good. All right. One more sentence.
Ako. Mary.
I'm good.
Ako Mary. Kwaitat. Anya. Anjana. Danda Jaji. Baji. Is it Baji? No.
Jaji. Yeah, Danda Jaji.
Baji. Ishpi.
Spiritual.
Spijo. Aga. Mak. Nita. Aji. Bashiwai. Bimek. Bashiwai. Bimek. Bashiwai. Bimek. Nabaw. Bashiwai Nabaw.
Ashwainik Naba. Okay. This is kind of a euphemism. She's basically saying she's not sleeping with a man, but it doesn't use the word sleep. It says Akamak Mita Uch Pashuapmuk. I have not been close enough to a man. I'm not close to a man. She's talking about sex, right? But she's not talking to an angel about sex. So she's just saying, I'm not close to a man. I'm not close enough to Pashuapmuk. I'm not near to a man like that. So it's a softer way to say, I'm not sleeping with a man. So how could I have a baby? Okay? So that's why she says it that way. She says, Bashwamuk. Hakamaknita uch Bashwamuk nebo. How can this happen if I haven't slept with a man? How can I have a baby, right? That's what Mary is saying. All right, we made it through that page. Let's go back to our practice that we did last week of identifying the nouns. Remember, a noun is the name of a thing. Anything that's a name of something, like Mary.
Maui. Anjana.
Okay, an angel. An angel is a noun.
Anjana. Madeleine Anjana. It's a noun.
As a noun. Any more nouns in that first row? How about the second row? Chamando. That's a name of God. Good. Any more?
Chichua. Chichua.
Not a name of a thing. Chichua means really or truly, but that's not a name of a thing.
It's not a noun.
No.
Labas.
Nabas.
Jesus.
And Jesus. Good. Okay. Any more nouns further down? Chamando. Good. Chamando is another noun. Same. Usually, if you find one at the beginning and you see it again further down, then it's still a noun. How about that one? Is that a noun? Any more nouns? Help me here. I could name them all, but I'd like you to help me. Noun is a name of something. Israel, that's right. There's a name of a country called Israel and the land of Israel. So Ashtich, Israel, Ashtich.
Baby.
David. David is a noun. How about grandfather? His grandfather, Omoshoma. Good. This means his late relative. His late relative, his great-grandfather, David. There's Israel again. And how about this one? People, Israel people. You already had Mary. Any more? Anyone at all? Just pipe up. Anjana, that's an angel. Nebo. If I haven't been close enough to a man, I can't have a baby. A man is a noun. Good. All right. Let's look for verbs. Now remember, verb is something that somebody does. It's an action. So here's somebody who said something. Chiitugo. That's somebody said something, right? Chiitugo. Mention. Are there any more verbs in here?
Anya.
What's Sadhisi?
Shachisi is a verb. That means be afraid.
Oh,
Agawi shachisi. Don't be afraid, Mary. So it's a verb, being afraid, but he's saying don't be afraid. So this actually all goes together. Gawi shachi. Don't be afraid. Shwaimuk, yeah. This is something that God really does to Mary. He really blesses her. How about another verb? This is the way it says being pregnant, right? Chika kanawai maoshon. You will take care of someone. You will be pregnant. You're carrying a baby.
Yeah, yeah, well.
Chika ayao. You will have. Nepas chika ayao. You will have a son. Good. Any more verbs?
Chiki Shinigata.
This is what you will name him. So the action is to name someone. Chika ishinegatao. Jesus chika ishinegatao. That's a verb. Good.
Chiki Shidai Takusho.
He will be great. He will be important. He will be special. Whoops.
Now, Shinigata can look, no?
Yes, that's a verb. That's a verb. It helps to try to figure out what that word means, and then you can really tell whether it's a verb or not. He will be made a king. Okay? He will be made a king. And he will be a king like his great-grandfather David. And that was his name. So his name is a verb too. Okay, this is not a verb. This is not a verb. That's wrong. So look at this. This is not a verb. It looks like a verb, but it isn't. This is a verb. This other one is a noun again. This is a noun.
Chiki ayaw. Nantem chiki ayaw. Pipay chichaw nyo.
Ayao. So this chika ayao means to have something. Nantam chika ayao. He will have for a long time. Nantam forever. Utabai chichaunio. The utabai chichaunio is the being the
Blessing.
ownership. No, tabai chichaunio is like ownership. Tabaitam. Think of the word tabaitam in Naskapi. It's something I own. I'm going to tabaitam. I have something. I own it. Tabaitam. So this is the ownership or the lordship. He will be the owner of Israel people.
Chichaw chimaw tuat.
Yes. Yes, he will be made the king. And this ownership, ania at the paichichat, this ownership, namanita chikauch ishquapio. Nama means not, nita means ever, chikauch ishquapio. It'll never end. So the ownership up here at the paichichat, namanita chikauch ishquapio. It'll never stop. Ishquapio means to last forever. Okay, almost done. I'll go Mary. What did she do next?
Kwaitat.
Right, that she said something, Ania, to the angel. Tanta Jaji Uch Ispich. That means something happens. That's a verb. Tanta Jaji Uch Ispich. How can this happen? The U is this, right? How can it happen this? Agama. Yeah. I've never been close enough to a man, close enough to see a man. Never seen a whole man. There, we've done pretty much all of them. We've missed one or two nouns. Here's a noun we missed over here. Utapaichichawa. This is a complicated piece because the word that means own something comes up a lot. Like this part, tipai, tipai, tipai. Here it's the first one here, Utapaichichawa Chamandua, is the Lord God. Here it's Santam Chika Ayao Tapaichichaunio. He will always be the Lord of it. And here it is Atapaichat Namanita Chika Uch Ishquapio. His ownership, his lordship, his kingship will never end. But this tipai, tipai, tipai over and over is to own something. It's the part of the word that means he's the boss of it. He's the owner of it. He's the leader of it. Sometimes it's used in the word for Lord, like Utabai Chichawa. Sometimes it's used in the word for his kingdom, Tibai Chichaunio. Sometimes it's used in a verb, like Tibai Chichat, his ownership. So look at all the other verbs. Look at the rest of these verbs and notice how they begin. This verb begins with a chika. This one 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 begins with a chika. What does chika mean? This one begins with the chika.
It's gonna happen.
Means it's going to happen. You're right, Ben. It's a future tense marker. The tense, past, present, and future, is marked on a verb at the very beginning. And so every time we see the chika, it means it's going to happen.
Does it mean that it's gonna happen or that a person's going to do it?
Yes.
Right? Because if it's gonna happen, it's a different one, right?
No, it means either a person is going to do it or it's going to happen. Some of them are passive. That means they're going to happen anyway. Some of them mean he will do it.
Bill,
Yes.
can I ask you a question?
Yes, you go ahead, Bill. Billy.
Who created this SYLLABICS for the Naskapis?
Your ancestors. So
Okay,
John Shuganabish, Joe Guanish,
my dad.
Philippinish, yes, your dad, and his father. The syllabic system came to them from the Cree. It came to them
They
in
learned
Fort
from the Cree.
Chimo. They learned it from the Cree, but they write it this way. The way we're reading it here is because of the way your dad and Joe Guanish and Philippinish and Johnny Uniem, this is the way they decided it was going to be. We worked with the elders in the early 1990s to get this down. There were a lot of writers. Willie Swappy wrote a whole journal. John Piacidute wrote a lot of things. He kept notes. He kept records of things, and this is the way he wrote. So the traditional Naskapi writing started from Cree, but it became the way it is today, the position of the dots and that sort of thing, the spelling, because of your ancestors, and ancestors that you and I remember from not too long ago. So like your dad and Joe Guanish. Most of them have passed away now, but Before then, they only had Cree books. But now
Brown
we
books.
have, the brown book, that's Cree. Now we have Naskapi books, and they're not exactly the same. They're close, but they're not the same. And the reason they're not the same is because of those elders who decided this is
Okay.
the way Naskapi is going to be written.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for the info.
Sure.
I was curious.
Yep. Yeah, we're almost done here. We're going to look at a few more verb beginnings. Here's a verb beginning. Where was I? Right there. At the first word, it begins with chi. Find some more verbs that begin with chi. This one. Any more? Chi. That's also a tense marker. That's past tense. Chi itago. Itago means somebody said something to someone. And the chi means it's in the past tense. So it happened once. Chi itago. Chamado chichwa chishwaimuk. He really blesses you. He blessed you. You've been blessed. You've been kissed by God. Look at some of these other ones. Cha and ka. These are also tense markers. The cha and the ka are also past tense. But you can always recognize a verb because most of them will have a tense marker in the front. The chaji is like it just happens constantly. And the means it's neutral. It's not past or present or future. It's just, it is. But you notice the way words are written in Naskapi is that they put their tense markers here in the front, and then they put a little space. And that little space is a little bit narrower than a regular space. It connects the tense marker to the rest of the word, but then you find what the word means after the tense marker. You look at this part, itago, itao and itago, that means to say something to someone. Chi said something to someone, that angel. Chi itago. Akawi shachisi, Mary. Don't be afraid, Mary. For God really, chi shuemuk. Really, he has blessed you. Past tense, chi shuemuk.
Bill, I gotta go.
All right, you can go. And I think we're getting toward the end of this anyway, so we can start to wrap things up. We don't want to go too much further past 3:30. Thanks for coming. Will we see you next week?
Yep.
All right.
Right.
Do
Bye.
Naskapi still say Mary or they say money?
Yes. The answer is yes. There is a person that works at the NDC office, and she was named Manny, and she goes by Manny. People call her Manny, but her parents intended to name her after Mary in the Bible, or a grandmother named Mary.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, both. Some Naskapi people still use the word marry because they borrowed not only the word, but also the sound from English. And so they can call their kid Mary. But there are a lot of them in the old days who pronounced it Manny. And so there are some who still keep it that way. So Manny is Manny.
So don't you think that the word Mary is going to disappear soon because everybody's saying Mary now and nobody's saying money?
Exactly. That's it's gradual. I remember talking to Ruby Sandy Robinson once with a bunch of her friends around the kitchen table, and I called her Newbie. And she looked at me and she said, "Don't call me Newbie." I said, "All these other people are calling you Newbie." She said, "Well, yeah, they're Naskapis. I put up with it. But my name isn't Newbie, it's Ruby." So because of that, I could call her Ruby, but not everybody calls her.
Her own daughter is moving in the other direction.
Exactly.
So
Nuwata.
Loretta doesn't call herself Loretta anymore. She calls herself Nuwata,
Right.
because that's how you say it in Naskapi.
And we have Billy here on the screen who has spelled his name Una, which is Naskapi spelling of William. So names are especially tricky because people have an opinion about what they want to be called. You can see that my name, if you've seen my last name, it's a very long name. It's hard to pronounce. My parents and my brothers go by Jansowitz, but I decided to go by Jancewicz, which is the Polish pronunciation of that name. My heritage is Polish. So the proper old spelling of my pronunciation of my name is Jancewicz. So names are a very personal thing, and you can choose the pronunciation of your name. Like Billy has chosen Una, and Manny has chosen Manny. But Ruby Sandy Robinson wanted to go modern. She would prefer to be called Ruby by people who could pronounce Ruby. So it's like I said, it's a personal matter. When they decided to translate the Bible, all of the traditional Bible names like Mary, Israel, they decided to spell those the way closer to the original spelling, which would be the English spelling. So Israel instead of Isnael. Even Jesus, we spell it Jesus, but Naskapi say Jesus.
Makes it easier to read, Mishkach, because you're using the Bible as a way to learn different words and the way to learn to spell different words. If I saw Manny written there, I might not know it was a name. I might think it was like a Naskapi word. Like, what does Manny mean? You know, because it could mean something. But Ishwayo, it sounds, if you say Ishwayo in Naskapi, it sounds like something that's far away. Wayo, Ishwayo. But because it's written Israel, I know because it uses the funny letters that it's a name. It's easier to read for me.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Any more questions before we wrap this up?
No, I
All
just
right.
need to. I'll just need help with my. What do you call that thing at the beginning?
The program?
Yeah.
Putting the program on your computer. You have a this is a PC, a laptop.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we ought to be able to get this to work for you. And once you have it work, you'll be amazed how fast you'll learn the syllabics by just copying pages out of the Bible.
Okay. So I'll contact Bill.
Yeah, either Bill or Ben. One of the others.
Bell.
I meant to say Benjamin.
Kaya di man ask man siguro the administrator na pig ni my PC. Guna nagkunay na dawin na laptop na dahat iPad.
Nuta.
Yes.
Agudan na. Gichaban ni Mayo Benjamin.
You do the PCs, I'll do the Mac. Ipo miniganitan PC ni.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it, Madeline.
Okay. So I'll send you email.
Yes, Madeline, send me an email and I can help you.
Okay. Thanks.
I have your email address, Madeline, and
Yeah.
I just got Alexis. Good, thank you, Alexis. Billy, put your email in the chat, please.
Nuta, I texted it to you on Google Hangouts. He sent it to me by accident.
Oh, very good, perfect.
So send me the info there.
Yes, I will send it to you by email. And we'll do this again next week. Thank you all for coming.
Oh.
Go, Miss Kumten.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.